Hello there. Welcome to my show, COVID-19 update by Heerak for October 27, 2020. You're listening to Australian folk music from land down under, Australia. Today is Black Cat Day, so happy National Black Cat Day. Some people have black cats, they get a bad rap. Black cats are seen as bad luck. I guess sometimes it's like self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You see a bad cat, and then you're black cat, and you're so preoccupied with the superstition, they start tripping over yourself or whatever. Yeah, it's like self-fulfilling prophecies. You think it's bad luck, so bad luck happens. Um, yeah, but some people say, black cat bad luck is real. So who's right, who's wrong? It's kind of hard to tell. It's not like COVID-19. Everyone knows that it infects and kills because we have empirical data. With black cats, nobody has really done a serious study of whether the bad luck is true or not. So, it's your guess as good as anyone else's, right? But anyway, happy National Black Cat Day. Those of you who have black cat, if you are not unlucky, write me and tell me stories of how lucky you are, even though you own a black cat. Love to learn, fun stories, true stories, meaningful stories about how black cats don't bring bad luck. Yeah, I probably won't get a black cat just because, I guess, I do have a little bit of superstition. But, you're right. There's no reason to be superstitious, but there is white magic, there is black magic. These things do actually exist in the world. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But at least you could enjoy nice Australian music in the background as you think about this. America is definitely experiencing bad luck. Um, yeah, maybe. I don't know if it's the black cat or what, but 755 people have died from COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. So we have a total of 226,000 two deaths so far. This is ridiculous. We have a 250,000 deaths. And we had death throughout the summer, like 1,000 a day in the summer. As you know, we hit second peak in the summer. And at the height of the second peak, which went from June to August, we had like 1,000 died per day. So as you know, I've kind of divided COVID-19 peak into three different peaks in 2020 for America. March to May, so 3 months. The peak was like in April. Um, and then June to August, peak was like late July and early August. So, peak means it goes up and then goes down. And then the third peak is September to December. So you have September, October, November, and then December. Um, so I'm thinking it's going to start going down because there's going to be so many cases and death in November, early December. People start shutting down, and then there will be slowing of cases. But I could be wrong. It may be just one long, continuous third peak. Meaning like from September to May. You never know. That is seriously concerning because University of Pennsylvania uh, celebrates Benjamin Franklin's birthday, and that's like generally third week in January, Friday. All the University of Pennsylvania alumni from Washington, D.C. area, that's like D.C., Maryland, Virginia, we go to like Johnny Pistola's and we reserve the whole second floor and then we just like party away, you know? And it's so much fun. Um, first floor, we just kind of socialize, get to know each other. Second floor, it's like dance party kind of, with our favorite band. You can see behind me the band playing. Yeah, I wore my funky tie, funky party blue tie. As you know, I'm vice president of University of Pennsylvania Alumni Association of Washington, D.C. And so I was happy to wear my party tie and entertain everybody. Um, but this year we probably won't have a Benjamin Franklin birthday celebration. Right now, all the Ivy League clubs in DC area, they're basically doing stuff remotely, and who wants to go to a remote event? You know what I mean? I mean, you probably got like gazillion Zoom linked to events. Who wants to go to like Zoom event? It's so lame. I mean, I should go down on Zoom events, but the whole point of like these alumni events is that you get together physically and talk to each other. You know, I mean, in real life, you cannot mute the button. But if you like on Zoom, if people just don't like what you're saying or people just don't like you, period, they can mute or just go offline. It's like, it doesn't help socialization because in a group setting, there's different dynamics, and, you kind of grow closer to each other in the midst of the conflict. But when you're on Zoom, it's like people can mute, people can like leave the meeting, So for socializing purposes, COVID-19 sucks. I hear you. I'm sure you feel the same way. Um, the whole point of socializing is you socialize like in real person, right? Especially when you don't know them. If you already know them, like you went to church together for like years and years, you can socialize online. It's not a problem. But if like in an alumni club, like University of Pennsylvania Alumni Club, Harvard Alumni Club, MIT Alumni Club, I really like the president of a Columbia Club, and I like the president of MIT Club. I meet a lot of club presidents and vice presidents, and they're always really nice. But it's you can't like do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of a lame thing. And I feel for you, all you alumni out there not being able to go to like fun alumni events in person. This is what we're stuck with. This is what we're stuck with in 2020. This is what we're stuck with in 2021. Most likely, this is what we're stuck with in 2022, 2023. For the foreseeable future, we're not going to be able to physically socialize because this is a killer virus that spreads from human to human contact. So any kind of social event, social gathering, will jeopardize lives of people. And at University of Pennsylvania, as the vice president of the Penn Club of DC, I don't want our alumni to die by coming to Penn Club of DC event. I went to Penn Club of DC event and I got COVID and I died. You know what I mean? I mean, geez, you're killing off like important alumni, right? I mean, they could have lived 30, 40 more years, but they came to Penn Club event, did not social distance, and got COVID and died. I mean, that would destroy donations, to the university. You know what I mean? I mean, the word would travel like wildfire. So obviously, it's in the interest of the university not to hold any kind of social events because it's like Black Hat, right? If some prominent alumni goes to University of Pennsylvania event that's like in person, gets COVID and dies, I mean, geez, that could be the end of like any future fundraising by University of Pennsylvania with the alumni, right? Because they'll be like, that's just bad luck. It's like Black Hat. University of Pennsylvania is like Black Hat. It just gives you bad luck. You don't want that kind of rumor to be spreading, right? I guess they call it branding. If you want to maintain positive branding, there are certain things you have to do because it's easy to destroy a brand. It's hard to make a brand that works. So they say it can take you like 30, 40 years to build a name, like a brand name. And then it could take just like a week to destroy the brand name. So it's so much easier to destroy the brand than make a brand. I mean, it's hard to make a really good brand. And University of Pennsylvania, let's face it, is a brand in a way, right? I mean, people go to University of Pennsylvania because when they think of University of Pennsylvania, they think of like Heerak Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress and Region's 8th District, who's a Leonardo da Vinci of 21st century. So high school students in Arlington, Alexandria Falls, Church, and Fairfax County, they're like, man, I want to go to University of Pennsylvania and be like Heerak, be like Mike. You know that TV commercial, be like Mike, like with Michael Jordan. He may be like Air Jordan in the basketball court, but Heerak Kim, everyone knows like Heerak Kim is like Air Heerak in the intellectual court. You know what I'm saying? So anybody who's like 18-year-old trying to achieve greatness in the world, they want to go to University of Pennsylvania because they want to be great like Heerak Kim. I mean, what can I say? I have like groupies and people who as I say, like in England, guys want to be like me and girls want to date me. What can I say? That's that's how it was at Cambridge University. The center of all the royalty and nobility, all the billionaires of Europe. Actually, a lot of Chinese billionaires came too. I mean, global billionaires coming to Cambridge, and they became my groupies. you know. What can I say? I mean, yeah, I mean, Leonardo da Vinci of 21st century, that's who I am, Heerak Kim. People like me come around every 500 years. Every 500 years. You're not going to see someone like me for another 500 years. So, I mean, you think I'm joking? I mean, you know, uh, in terms of Jewish studies expertise, there is actually zero people in the world who have my academic pedigree. And I dare you to produce any Jewish studies expert anywhere at Harvard, Columbia, Cambridge, Paris, University of Paris, University of Heidelberg, University of Geneva in Switzerland, University of Brazil, Sao Paulo. I dare you to produce top experts who will compare academic pedigree. There is no one who will even come close to my academic pedigree. Like they won't even come like 10% to my academic pedigree. And every single expert of Jewish study knows it. And that's why I'm like God among mortals in Jewish studies. I mean, I'm not a Jew. Many Jewish experts in Jewish studies want me to be a Jew so they can marry their daughter off to me. You know how many experts of Jewish studies try to marry their daughter off to me? Because, they know I'm like a historical force in academia and specifically in Jewish studies. Um, I have a presence wherever I go. In every academic conference I go, there's a presence. You know the term presence? It's like, hovering, when somebody comes in with gravitas, everybody kind of feels it. That's me. I mean, wherever I go. So, it's like top experts of Jewish studies know this, that I'm the chosen one in Jewish studies. And so that's why like top experts, they've tried to hook me up with their daughters. I mean, obviously their daughters are precious to them, but they see how great I am. And so, I guess it's the greatest compliment that someone could get when, someone tries to marry you after their daughter. That's like the greatest compliment. Do you think that's true? Um, Especially if they're like your colleagues, in expert in Jewish studies, because they know you. They're like in the same academic society. They want to marry you off to their daughter. I mean, that says a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I have a lot of expert Jews who are, religious Jewish, ethnically Jewish, or both, who wanted me to marry their daughter. But, some wanted me to convert, some didn't really care. But the point is, yeah, I mean, I mean, God, Bible says, to to them who have been given more is expecting. I understand that. I understand this concept of to those who have been given more is expected. And that's why I keep giving and giving and giving. I talk to my female friends and they're like, you're like the most giving person in the world. I mean, like you like a super duper woman because women give and give and give. They give more and like you give much more than the women who typically give. That's why my female friends say they're like, you're a better woman than the women because you just give and give and give. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I want to be nice to people and you know, I mean, I like pleasuring women. Once I gave a massage to a woman for maybe 4 or 5 hours straight. I didn't really take any breaks. It's maybe like bathroom break, but so 4 or 5 hour like massage. It was a long, just and I guess she fell in love with me just by that. I mean, I don't know. So let me just to give you a story. So I I was at University of Heidelberg and I was researching Jewish studies. I'm trying to get academic pedigree. So I was studying with one of the top experts in Jewish studies in Germany, whose name is Geert Tyson. And Geert Tyson, his specialty is Jewish studies at the time of Jesus. He's famous for coining the term Jesus the Charismaticer, Jesus the Charismaticer means like Jesus as a charismatic leader. So that's his thing. So, and that the leadership concept, there's the servant leader, anybody who's doing anything in leadership have come across like charismatic leader, servant leader, transactional leader. So, Professor Gerd Tyson is famous for this concept of charismatic leadership. And he discusses the concept of charismatic leadership using Jesus Christ. So leadership research, which is also an academic discipline, uses a lot of his research. I mean, people are really serious about researching leadership, especially from the perspective of charismatic leadership. There's a lot of different leadership styles. Um, what's popular now in America is kind of like servant leadership is very popular. A couple of decades ago, the concept of transactional leadership was popular. It still is kind of popular, especially in business settings. Um, and transformational leadership is very popular in education, research settings. And so people who do research, some people become like experts of transactional leadership. Some people become experts of, like democratic leadership. That's kind of popular too, but it's kind of losing its popularity. Servant leadership. So, there are different types of leadership theories. And, when I was at Georgetown University School of Nursing and Health Studies doing master's in clinical nurse leader, obviously leader is in the title, right? Clinical nurse leader, CNL, leader. So we obviously discuss leadership theories. Professor Elizabeth Schloss is an expert of leadership. So that's one of her field of expertise. She has a master's in business administration, MBA from Georgetown University, and she kind of focuses on the concept of leadership. She's a professor at Georgetown. She's doing her PhD at Virginia Commonwealth University. A lot of professors do PhD while they are full professors, even tenured professors. So, but anyway, she taught us a lot about leadership, and um, it's interesting, because you hear her perspective about leadership, but she let us kind of form our own ideas about leadership. But she has certain leadership ideas that she likes, obviously. And as a professor, she lectures, so we hear her and hear her present different side, or, different types of leadership. Professor Elizabeth Sloss is so nice, and she's so pretty. She's so smart. Her husband is so lucky, oh my gosh, he lucked out. He's sort of like, he's one of the luckiest guys in this area, if not in the world. Hopefully he knows that. I think he does. They like to go on like hiking trips and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess they both enjoy it. I hope my wife doesn't make me go on hiking trips. Yeah, but I think it's like Professor Elizabeth Sloth and her husband, they both like hiking trips. So it's like the thing that they love to do. Um, for me, like I like pleasuring women. So, maybe, I mean, I could massage her for like 6 hours. I mean, that would be more fun for me than hiking. But anyway, yeah, going back to Heidelberg. So, and in Heidelberg, Germany, it was in the summertime. Well, I mean, I was there for like 6 months doing research on Jewish studies with Professor Gerd Tyson, one of the leading experts on Jewish studies and also theory of leadership in the world. And Heidelberg University is like Harvard of Germany, right? Hegel came from Heidelberg University. And Hegelian dialectics is where Karl Marx got his ideas. But it's not just Karl Marx. A lot of people got their ideas from Hegel, right? Um, so, but anyway, so it was summertime, and I said, I'd like to learn some things, and they had a free Argentinian tango class for Heidelberg University students. I'm in the Heidelberg University Alumni Association, and their headquarters is in America's Alumni Association is in New York. So they invited me to the cruise for like alumni. you know, I was trying to go to, but then we have COVID-19 and everything. It sucks. Like a lot of things happen. But anyway, when I was in Heidelberg, so I went to this like Argentinian tango, and it was nice. I enjoy learning new dances. Um, and obviously, I generally look at the room and pick out the prettiest girl, you know. And so that's what I did. I picked out the prettiest girl there in the class and walked over. It was like, it wasn't, I guess I had to walk like half the room. She was like on the other side, but she was worth it. So I walked over there, and she was wearing like skimpy, one piece black dress. No, it's not one piece. I think it was two pieces. It's like tank top with like you know black dress bottom. But anyway, so I asked her to dance, and she said yes, and we danced for a while. And the class wasn't that long. It was one of those like college dance classes. You know how it is. Everybody's there from your college, your Heidelberg University, and it's like an hour or 2 hour session. But it was fun. It was like Friday. I think it was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. So so afterwards, she told me like she lives like an hour away, but she takes the train to school every day. Um, she was trying to save on rent or something, and it's cheaper. Like like if she takes the train, it takes like an hour, but it's like what I guess like 20 miles away or something, 15 miles away from the city. But she's like she said she missed the last train. And I'm like, I'm a nice guy. So I said, hey, sorry to hear that you missed the last train. Why don't you come over and we'll I have like frozen pizza. We could make frozen pizza and just kind of talk and have fun. And then you know, uh, tomorrow morning we just um, go back home because trains will run tomorrow morning. So she's like, okay. So we came over and then we ate the frozen pizza. We microwaved it, nuked it, and ate it. And yeah, and then it was really hot though. And the Europeans they don't seem to believe in air conditioning. But she was like wearing like the tank top anyway. I mean, she could. That's like you can't. I mean, it's like tank top. So yeah, it was hot though, but it got cooler. But anyway, so I gave her like a massage for hours and hours. I think probably like 4 or 5 hours. Um, and like next morning, like you know, oh yeah, we actually went dancing that night again. I dragged her out. Um, I dragged her out to a club around maybe it was like 1 a.m. Yeah, so it might have been like 1 a.m. So I dragged her out, and then we practiced we danced the Argentinian dance to the club tune. The club it didn't really play Latino music, but I mean you could kind of dance to it, so it was kind of fun. So we danced a few hours, and then we came back. Um, but she didn't want to go dancing. She's like, "Come on, let's stay in here." But anyway, yeah, we went dancing. We came back, and um, yeah, so she was a freshman. She was a first year student at Heidelberg University. Um, and she was majoring in like languages, to be a translator, like to be a translator in United Nations or whatever. Um, and so yes, it was kind of nice. She's different, from Jewish studies, but so she came from Bremen. It's like a city. Um, and, she's really thin, and she was like telling me she lost a lot of weight. She said she was really heavy before, and she lost all this weight. So now she's thin. I'm like, really? I mean, I can't picture her being like really big, but she said she was really big, and then she lost weight. Um, so maybe it's like Adele. Adele was kind of big, but she got really thin, and she looks really pretty. After she lost all that weight. So, but anyway, so I massaged her for like hours and hours. Um, she really liked it, I guess. But so the next anyway, the next morning, she started like singing song to me. Like I didn't know what to make of it. She started just like serenading me, like singing song. I guess because I gave her so much pleasure. I guess she wanted to give me like something. So she was like singing, and she was looking into my eyes and singing, and I thought it was interesting. I've never really had that kind of response from a woman before like that. Like just she just started singing out of nowhere. Just kept singing and singing, looking into my eyes. So wow, that's kind of interesting. I didn't know what to say. But yeah, but I guess she was really. I guess I pleasured a lot. I don't know. But yeah, but I mean, she's like, yeah. So she was really, yeah. But I like giving pleasure to women. I think I'm good at it. Well, I mean, I've been told by women that I'm good at it. But I mean, maybe they're just being nice. But um, I don't think they're being nice. I think I do really, you know, uh, give them pleasure. I mean, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to. I mean, what they say I do, and it seems like they do. They kind of purr, purr like a kitten. Yeah, I mean, you gotta hear women purr. I don't know if you've experienced that before, but I've experienced it with many women, which seems to indicate that I'm pretty good at you know bringing like happiness and pleasure to women. I guess I don't know, but anyway, yeah, how do we? Yeah, anyway, yeah, oh, dancing, yeah. So yeah, it's always fun dancing there, and it's like all Penn alumni, and it's Benjamin Franklin, birthday. It's nice to celebrate it. I mean, there are some pretty women there at, kind of alumni events, like you can see like attractive women there. I mean, they're not quite at the level where the women that I generally like, like I like women who look like, models. I mean, that's just, I have a pretty high standard. So, but, they're smart and they're pretty. So, I mean, you can't complain. But I don't know. I mean, I find like women are prettier in like Scandinavia, like if you go to Norway or Denmark or Sweden. I don't know. I feel like women are prettier. I don't know. Maybe I'm not in the right areas in America, but like, when I'm in Sweden or Denmark or Norway, I'm like, wow, Um, I think there's a greater percentage of women who are just amazingly pretty. Um, and maybe because they're thin, because Europeans, they're really thin. And, being thin is half the battle. So there are American women, if they're thin, they'll be like really pretty, but they're not thin. So they're not really pretty. They're kind of pretty, but not really pretty. So that may be it. I don't know. I guess that could be it. Because being thin is half the battle. And Europeans, they eat like, when in Germany, they eat one piece of toast with like one slice of ham or one slice of cheese and with like one boiled egg. That's like their breakfast. And their lunch is like one or two slices of bread with like pieces of tomatoes or other kinds of fruits. They don't even use like dressing, salad dressing, because it's kind of fattening. Um, and then for dinner, they have like a little piece of meat, like steak or chicken, like one chicken breast, with like vegetables and fruits and stuff like that, or one small piece of beef or steak, but like really small. And so I guess that's how they keep their figure very thin. And I guess being thin is half the battle. So yeah, that could be why, because in America everybody eats a lot, right? So I have to be totally honest with you. When I was in Europe, I had like much more compulsion to like ask women out on dates and stuff like that because they're like pretty and they look good. Like their body looks good, their face looks good, and they have long hair and so yeah, in America, I mean, there are pretty women. Um, you know, like Ohio has a lot of beautiful women. I remember going with my best buddy Ed Mosang, who married Karen Middleton. Karen Middleton was a Fairfax County Public School elementary school teacher for the longest time, like for how many years? I mean, maybe like I don't know, maybe like 7 years or 10 years. When Ed Mosang was doing his Juris Doctor JD degree at George Washington University, she taught, kind of supported Ed, with her teaching and working. Um, she's a wonderful woman. She's very pretty. She lost like 40 pounds for the wedding, and oh my gosh, she's amazingly beautiful. So I was like, Ed, you lucky duck. And Ed's like all smiling. He's like, yeah, I'm lucky. He was so happy. But Ed, I guess Karen lost 40 or 50 pounds for the wedding. And she looked good. Um, yeah, so yeah, but anyway, yeah, being thin is half the battle. And it's like it's hard to be thin if you're hanging out with your friends and eating French fries. I love French fries, but I don't have to. I mean, I guess I should worry about my figure, but I'm like a guy, so I don't know. I don't think girls care that much about guys not being in shape. I don't know. That's been my experience. I could be wrong, but it's never had. I mean, I've never really had problem. You know, um, but women are different. Men want women to be thin. Most men, if not all. Yeah, so I think I feel bad for the women because men are so superficial and they just want like thin, pretty women. I mean, it must be stressful for women. You know, because men, I mean, some women will like you for whatever reason, but men are so superficial. They're just like pretty women. You know what I mean? Yeah, men are superficial. It's bad, but That's how we are biologically wired. What can you do, right? Um, yeah, I mean, it's been like that since the beginning of time. So it's not going to change, until the end of time. Um, yeah, I so yeah, you see like us partying over there. It's fun, I made a lot of good friends over there. There are a lot of great Penn alumni. I love Penn alumni people. I love meeting more and more people. Are really really nice. As you know, I interview high school students who apply for University of Pennsylvania. I've been doing that for over 10 years. And the deadline to apply early decision to University of Pennsylvania is November 1st. So do not miss the deadline. That's always been that way for like decades. Um, yeah, I just received this in the mail. Penn, University of Pennsylvania sent me this mug. Uh, coffee mug, I guess. You see, like Penn, PENN. Um, yeah, and it's like Penn Alumni Fund, Penn Alumni Fund or something, and Penn volunteers. We love volunteers. So yeah, so yeah, I mean, basically, when I interview for Penn, I'm volunteering, right, my services, and I've been doing that for many years. Interviewing high school students apply to University of Pennsylvania. So Penn admissions office trusts me because I can hit it on the nail. If I think a person is going to be successful, he's going to be successful. She's going to be successful. Yeah, I'm very good at being able to tell who's going to be very good, very successful or not. Um, yeah, and also my particular gift is I'm very good at training people to be successful. Yeah, people that I've trained or coached to success, I mean, they become amazing. So that's my particular gift. Identifying people who have natural talent or acquired talent, and then being able to coach people without any talent, acquired or inborn, to become great. So that's they call me the kingmaker. You know, People send me their children who are like C, D, F students. I make them into brilliant minds who love learning. I mean, you know how hard that is to get kids who are getting F to learn to love math and learning and want to get A's. I mean, that's why they call me the miracle worker because no one can do it. I can do. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I'm natural. It's like a natural gift. It's a gift from the God. For me, anybody I teach, they start love learning and love school. The parents get shocked. They're like, they get shocked. They didn't think that was possible. But nothing is impossible with God. I tell them, try to share the gospel a little bit whenever I can. But anyway, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's look at the five top cases of COVID in Europe. Um, Russia is number one, 1,537,142 cases. And at the 2% death rate is 26,409 deaths. France is number two, and they have 1,209,663 cases. And at 3% death rate, they have 35,053 deaths. Yeah, it's incredible. Um, yeah. Um, France is headed to massive death. I'm sure they know that. It's too bad. All these beautiful thin French women, they may die from COVID. The world is going to be lacking many, many beautiful women after COVID-19 takes all these beautiful European women away to Never Never Land. Oh well. Um, Spain, Spain has 1,098,320 cases, and at 3% death rate, 35,031 deaths. United Kingdom is number four, 897,766 cases, and 45,088 have died. Italy is number 5 with 542,789 cases at 7% death rate. Italy has the highest. 37,479 have died. Um, During the winter months, their death rate was above 10%. A lot of them are around 10% or above 10%. But during summer months, death rate kind of was reduced. So that's why the death rate seems low. But during winter it was really high. So that's something you gotta remember. The big news today is that Amy Coney Barrett, professor of law at Notre Dame University, go Irish, um, got confirmed as a U.S. Supreme Court justice. Can I get a high five and go Irish? All the Irish people, give me high five. I think she's Irish too, isn't she? Yeah, like one for Ireland. And she seems like a nice person. Let's see if she's going to lead America in a moral direction or not. Um, hopefully she will help America become great by leading America in the right direction that God is pleased by, because God is the giver of the law, right? All laws stem from God ultimately, meaning the moral law in Ten Commandments is supposed to guide every country and their national laws. So we have the U.S. Supreme Court, and we have the Constitution that is supposed to guide America, but above the Constitution is the moral code of God. So every nation have their own laws, but above the national laws in every and each nation is the law of God that is supposed to guide every nation. You see what I mean? So the law of God or the Ten Commandments should be seen as the constitution of all the constitutions, by which all the constitutions of the world should be judged. You see what I'm saying? Hopefully, Amy Coney Barrett understands that, where the pecking order of laws. Um, let's see, um, I guess the question that I want to ask, and because Amy Coney Barrett is a devout Christian, a lot of liberal progressives hate her. I mean, it's sad. I'm sure there are liberal progressives in Arlington, Alexandria Falls Church in Fairfax County who hate Amy Coney Barrett just because she's a true Christian or devout Christian. It's sad, but that exists. Jesus Christ would say, some will hate you because you love me. Um, so it's not surprising. Jesus warned us about that in the New Testament. First article, it seems like Joe Biden is one of these people who hate Jesus and who hates, uh, Amy Coney Barrett for loving Jesus and the Bible. Because Joe Biden doesn't, follow the Bible at all, right? He does everything that the Bible tells him not to do, which is sad, but it's true. I mean, name one thing that Joe Biden does that really encapsulates the Bible. Really, he has done nothing that models the Bible in any shape or form, the Ten Commandments. Um, right? I mean, thou shalt not kill. He supports abortion. I mean, that's like killing. You see what I'm saying? I mean, thou shalt not steal. I mean, Joe Biden wants to give away all of America's tax money to foreigners, right? He doesn't want to give to like American citizens who pay the taxes. He wants to give it all to the foreigners. That's like stealing from American citizens, right? So that's breaking thou shalt not steal commandment. I mean, you want to help the poor. You want to help the poor in another country that's not U.S. citizen. Um, Use your own money. Don't use the money of U.S. citizens. That should go to U.S. citizens and then squander it away on non-U.S. citizens. That's like stealing from U.S. citizens, right? Because when U.S. citizens pay taxes, they expect that tax money to be used on U.S. citizens, right? Services for U.S. citizens. So, you know what I mean? And Joe Biden is like, I want to give money to everybody but U.S. citizens. That's the way like Nancy Pelosi operates as well. Why do you think you didn't get your stimulus check? Your stimulus check is being held up by people. like Nancy Pelosi, who doesn't want to give U.S. citizenship money that they're due. Because she's more interested in paying for non-citizens, you know? And that's the problem with the Democratic Party, in my opinion. It's a lose-lose situation if Democrats come into power because they really don't want to help you if you're a U.S. citizen. If you're a U.S. citizen, whether you're black U.S. citizen in the urban city, I mean, how many Democrat presidents have helped black cities? Name one. Even during 8 years of Barack Obama, black cities were completely ignored. Black public schools were completely ignored. Um, like Barack Obama did not go out of his way to help black people in inner cities. Just name one legislation that or executive order that Obama passed to help black people. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If that's mean, he should have done it, in my opinion, because Black Lives Matter. But Obama did not. He did not do anything special for black people. And so I have a problem with Obama. Um, yeah, so anyway, Biden was his vice president, so obviously he thinks like Obama. But they don't care about black people or black inner cities, they just don't. Um, Yeah, they just want to use black people for their political power and political purposes, And that's what I don't like about Obama and uh, Joe Biden. They both think like black people are in their pocket, They think like, well, black people will vote for them, whatever they do, even if they don't do anything for black inner city public schools, they'll vote for them. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like that kind of attitude. Like like somehow they own the black people in America, like as slaves of 21st century. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just pretty bad. I feel like it's pretty bad because they should have done something and they should still do something. But I don't know. I don't see anything. A lot of talk, not much action. You know what I mean? A lot of talk. Um, but anyway, the quote is Biden slams rushed and unprecedented Amy Coney Barrett confirmation. Biden's going to get all political here, So the quote is Biden issued the condemnation, lengthy statement released shortly after Barrett was officially sworn in to the nation's highest court. I mean, can he say, I wish you well, Amy Coney Barrett? You're obviously qualified. I mean, she's confirmed anyway. Why does he have to insult Amy Coney Barrett and all the Irish people, by trying to rag on her confirmation? I mean, she's already confirmed. It cannot be undone. Um, why can't Joe Biden just say, obviously she's qualified. I could think of worse people could be confirmed. If he wants to insult her, I mean, I think she's an amazing person, but the way he's going about it, he's like, she shouldn't be confirmed at all. That's the attitude that Biden is taking. So this is the hypocrisy I see in the Democratic Party. They just rub everybody the wrong way. They're just not gracious. Biden is not gracious. He's trying to take the job away from Amy Coney Barrett that she already got hired for. You know what I mean? Who does that? What kind of mean person does that? And that's what Biden is. He has a mean streak. Amy Coney Barrett just got hired for a new job, and Joe Biden, wants to take that job away, and that's why he's condemning Amy Court, who's already hired. Contract's been signed by both parties, and Joe Biden is like, well, no, she should not be hired as U.S. Supreme Court Justice. You see what I'm saying? I mean, people like that rub everybody the wrong way, Republican, Democrat, Independent. That's why a lot of people don't like Joe Biden. I mean, he's not like a likable guy. I think most people agree he's not a likable guy um, because of the things he does. He's just really mean. So Biden issued the condemnation in a lengthy statement released shortly after Barrett was officially sworn in. Shortly after. She just want to be mean. In the nation's highest court, quote, the rushed and unprecedented confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett as Associate Justice to the Supreme Court in the middle of an ongoing election should be a stark reminder to every American that your vote matters. What? I mean, voters want her confirmed. Both Democrats and Republicans. I mean, geez, what are you saying, Biden? What are you saying, Tin Man Joe? Tin Man Joe. What are you saying? Um, Continue there. The Democratic presidential candidate said, Barrett, the fifth female justice in the court's history, will begin hearing cases immediately. I'm like, sure, she started her job. Of course, she's going to start working immediately, right? I mean, what's so surprising about that? So Biden is just being ridiculous here. Biden just doesn't want like practicing Catholics and evangelical Christians to have a job. Like any evangelical Christian or any practicing Catholic who gets a job, Joe Biden would be out there saying, "Oh no, no, no! Let's take the job away from that Catholic who believes in the Bible, and evangelical Christian who follows the Bible." That's Joe Biden. How could you vote for somebody like that? You know, because he just doesn't respect the faith. He doesn't respect people's right to have their own faith. You know, in Christ. Very, very anti-Christ. You know, Joe Biden, anti-Christian. Um, I think it's sad for somebody to be so anti-Christian like that. But Joe Biden is. I mean, it may be his campaign manager, but either way, you know, the Joe Biden's camp is very anti-Christian. You know, it's sad. Second article: Celebrities react to Amy Coney Barrett's Supreme Court nomination or confirmation. President Trump nominated Amy Coney Barrett because he thought she was qualified, and she definitely is qualified. And I think that's an objective thing. But obviously, liberal progressives don't care what's objective truth. If you don't agree with them politically, they don't want you to have a job. They want you to go homeless and hungry. They want you to lose your job, not be able to pay rent, not be able to pay for food. That's what liberal progressives are. This is why, like, you should not join the Democratic Party because they stand for like ideology. They don't care about people. Democrats don't care about people. They only care about ideology. Look at how Nancy Pelosi held up the stimulus check from all of Americans who could have gotten the stimulus check to help them with food because of Nancy Pelosi's ideology, right? That's why you don't have your stimulus check. I mean, do you want people like that to be in power for the next 4 years? And we're going to be suffering from COVID-19 for the next 4 years. And do you want to suffer like that? Yeah. Um, yeah. So this is by Melissa Roberto in Fox News today. The quote is Alyssa Milano. I love Alyssa Milano. She's so pretty. And you know, she was fun, like in Who's the Boss and Charm. She was great. I mean, she's a great actress and she's pretty. She's thin and tall and pretty. And she's a good actress, you know. And she's really pretty. You know, Lisa Milano, you know, I like Lisa Milano. And I think she's like happily married with children, you know. Good for you, Alyssa. Give me five, but happily being married with children, Melissa. Not Melissa, Alyssa. Alyssa Milano. Good for you. But, there's a but in there. Um, Alyssa Milano expressed her opposition to Barrett's appointment with a number of retweets. She's retweeting stuff. What's the deal, Alyssa? Um, one of which came from the West Wing actor Bradley Whitford. Never heard of him. Who is he anyway? Oh, Bradley Whitford, who argued that despite Barrett's confirmation, there's still time to flip some states. Jeez, you know, I mean, okay, let's continue on. Punch back! Jeez, such violent words. Punch back! Punch back! Punch back! Punch back with a donation to Flint State Legislature. Whitford tweeted. What the hey? What the hey? What the hey? Who talks like that? Ooh, punch back! Punch back! Punch back what? I mean, this like Whitford guy wants to like punch back at Amy Coney Barrett. I mean, what the hey? What the hey? What the hey? Um, Our lives will have to suffer at the hand of a hijacked Supreme Court. What the heck? What the heck? I mean, geez. I guess thank God, who's that? Who's that Supreme Court justice who died? Thank God she died in time, because you look at the way these people talk. They just want to torture us. Like they just want to deprive us of us, Christians, of our jobs in America. They want to punch us. They want to physically assault us. Punch back. Whether it's metaphor or not. I mean, geez, metaphorically assaulting. Um, you know what I'm saying? Thank God, who's that? Ruth Bader Ginsburg died in time, so we could appoint somebody who will protect us, at the Supreme Court level. I mean, geez, majority of Americans, 300 million Americans are like Christians. We don't need like some kind of slave master trying to take our job away just because we believe in Jesus and love Jesus. I love you, Jesus. Yeah, just because we love Jesus. Hey, don't torture us. Don't punch us. Don't punch back at us. Jeez, what my God say? You just want to love Jesus. Sing hymns to Jesus. You know? Um, yeah, some of us want to own black hats. But, the point is this, I mean, I have to say, I thank God that in his infinite wisdom, he took the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg away early enough that we can have Amy Coney Barrett, what I call the new and improved version uh, of a justice in the Supreme Court. I mean, do you really need people to persecute you for loving Jesus? I mean, geez, look at the way these people talk. It's like they're trying to make it a crime for loving Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Um, they want to take your job away just because you're a Christian. For God's sake, who does that? I mean, that's what Ruth Bader Ginsburg stood for, I guess. And obviously, her supporters stand for that, right? They want to take job away from Amy Coney Barrett. If they want to take job away from Amy Coney Barrett, they definitely want to take your job away. You know what I'm saying? If you're an evangelical Christian, geez, like they think that's a crime. Um, so Milano reiterated that she's supporting Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris. Kamazilla! Kamazilla! Um, Neither of them went to University of Pennsylvania. I'm a alumnus of University of Pennsylvania. So I have to say, yeah, there's that thing operating as well. I like Trump because he went to the same school as I. That's how you socialize, I guess, right? And I fight for 300 Americans to get stimulus check because I'm an American citizen, and I stand with you. You are like me. I am like you. We are all United States citizens, There's a common bond between us, among us, 300 million Americans, because we're all US citizens, right? And that's why I want Pelosi to give all of us US citizens stimulus checks, because you deserve it. You pay taxes, you work hard. Why should you not get stimulus checks in time of national crisis? And Amy Coney Barrett's going to help you get your stimulus checks. But Pelosi's like, hey, let's like give money away to everyone who's not a U.S. citizen, and then let U.S. citizens suffer. I mean, geez, do you really want that kind of people like controlling the House of Representatives? I mean, we have 4 more years to go of COVID-19. Probably, obviously, House of Representatives, they have election every 2 years, but still, we have 2 years to go of COVID-19. Do you want somebody like Pelosi there in power, hoarding up your stimulus checks? Let's be real here. I mean, what's going to happen to you and your family if Pelosi keeps hoarding up your stimulus check because she doesn't want to help U.S. citizens and U.S. citizen families? She's going to hoard up your stimulus check for her political agenda. Do you want this? Vote her out. Vote the Democrats out. Because you're never going to see any stimulus check with Pelosi in power. The Democrats in power in the House. Because they're just going to be ideological about it. They don't care about you. They don't care about your children. They only care about their political liberal ideology. Um, she says, Alyssa Milano says, I'm voting for women's rights and I'm voting for Joe Biden. So voting for Amy Coney Barrett, who's a woman, is not voting for women's rights. What the hey? What the hey? What the hey? What the hey? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make logical sense. Alyssa, I love your programs like, it's not Bewitched, Charmed. Yeah, you're great in that show, but I mean, come on, let's get real, Alyssa. Come on, let's get real. Um, Third article, Justice Amy Coney Barrett is sworn in under darkness at the White House. Look at the terminology they use, like words like darkness. Darkness ain't that bad. Like black cat ain't that bad, right? If you like black cats, but it make it like they're trying to use terms to like make it seem sinister or something. Oh, the black cat walked down the street. The black cat crossed the street. The black cat ran in front of you. Amy, Justice Amy Coney Barrett is sworn in under darkness at the White House. It's like color terminology. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I guess it's part of our society because most people are afraid of black cat. You know what I mean? Because people think that's like bad luck because that's like the stereotype, that everybody has. The black cat is like bad luck. But, you know, uh, darkness can be good, right? Darkness can be nice. Cinderella, she danced away the night. It's a fictional story, but in a ball in darkness, under darkness. But then I guess not total darkness. I think the story maybe like under moonlight. Well, I mean, it's still dark outside. You know what I mean? It's nighttime. Um, yeah. So this is a New Yorker, Amy Davidson Sorkin. And the significant quote here is the Republican senators had in his final stretch, working through the weekend and staged an overnight session on Sunday so that the hours required procedurally for debate could be squeezed in to as few days as possible. Since in the end, it didn't matter whether anyone was listening, but that's like anything. I mean, if you really listen when you go to a board meeting, I mean, if you're a member of the board, you sit there and people blah, 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 blah. You're like nodding away. Blah, 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 blah. If you're a member of the board, any board, I mean, don't you like zone out for like 90% of what's being said? I mean, geez, let's be honest here. I belong to a lot of boards, I belong to, I'm a executive board member of this, executive board member of that, blah, 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 blah. People like blah, 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 blah. You can zone out for like, swath of time, like you can zone out for like 20 minutes at a time and come back. And they're still talking about the same thing. You haven't missed anything. You know what I'm saying? Those of you who go to board meetings know exactly what I'm saying, I mean, blah, blah, blah. It's like they talk about the same thing for like hours, sometimes days, you know? They're just trying to kill time, before the vote. So I mean, geez, I mean that's how it is in real life, people. It's not like, I mean, I mean, people who have never been in a board meeting, they don't understand, but that's how board meetings are. People says blah blah blah, blah blah blah, same exact thing, blah blah blah, for days and days and days. Um, yeah, but anyway, yeah, so they try to squeeze in as few days as possible. That's what they do. I mean, have you been to committee meetings? Have you been to board meetings? That's what they do. That's the whole point of a committee meeting, a board meeting. Blah 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 blah. And they squeeze in stuff. I mean, geez, sometimes it's people who have not been in a board or a committee. They don't know what goes on in a board or a committee. So they're like, maybe this Amy Davidson Sorkin has never been on a board or a committee. You know what I'm saying? Um, anyway, like, let's get real here. We live in the real world. We don't live in like fictional world of like liberal media. I mean, like, I bet Amy Davidson Sorkin lives in her own brain. Like her brain is like her own world. I mean, geez, I mean, I deal with realities here, realities of human existence, realities of what people normally experience in life or in committee meetings. Um, since then, it didn't matter whether anyone was listening. I mean, that's like every other board meeting. It's like 90% of the board meetings like that. I mean, duh, 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 duh. And now, a week and some hours before election day, Republicans had their justice. Sounds like she's jealous. Green with envy much? Green with envy. Green with envy. Harry agrees. It's like green with envy, Harry thinks. Yeah. I mean, geez, like a fox, the Republican senators outwitted you, the Democrat senators. I mean, you're just like soaring because you were outwitted. But let's be honest here, they got a good judge appointed. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, you have to agree that she's very qualified. She knows her stuff. Um, and she is a good model, a role model for women in America. She is a woman who's highly accomplished. She is a wife. She's not divorced, right? Do you want your children to be divorced? Even women who are divorced don't want their children to be divorced, right? The ideal is not to be divorced. Um, she has like 7 children, right? I mean, who says women with children cannot succeed? I have female friends who are like, I would not have any children because I want to be professionally successful, right? Doesn't Amy Coney Barrett just destroy that kind of idea that women cannot have both family, loving family with a lot of children and professional success? She is what every woman can have as a role model growing up in middle school, high school, college. You can have it all. You can have your love of your life. You can have all the children you want, and you can be successful and reach the highest in your area. She can't go higher than the Supreme Court. Um, right? She is what a modern woman is or can be. She is the realization of all that women aspire to be. And look at the hypocrisy of these feminazi liberal progressives. Instead of celebrating a woman who has everything, an ideal woman, pura personalis, the whole person, who is successful in personal life, successful in family life, successful in professional life. Instead of celebrating that, they're trying to destroy her, trying to take her job away, trying to minimize her success, badmouth her. And this is why I really don't like liberal progressives, because they're so ideological. When there is an example of a woman who has achieved what everybody aspire to be or want to be or saw as an ideal, they, they're not going to embrace it because they're so ideological. This is why I say reject the Democratic Party, because they just want you to be like unhappy, either divorced, so failing marriage, not having any children, abort all your children so you can be successful. That's like the Democratic Party, right? Oh, children only get in the way. If you get pregnant, just abort your children. So you could have got 7 children, but you aborted them all. Because that's what feminists want you to do. They want you to believe in the lie that a woman cannot be successful unless she aborts the babies. Yeah, here's the logic of Planned Parenthood. You know what they say, right? Oh, women should have the right to choose because if you're pregnant and you have a baby, you may not become successful. You may not be able to do what you want to do, right? That's the logic of Planned Parenthood, right? And they're so angry, these angry, bitter women, right, who are divorced, who are rejected by their lovers, or who cannot achieve happiness on a personal level. They're so angry with everything, the world, the men in their lives, and by extension, men in the world. And they're so jealous of women like Amy Coney Barrett. And they're just gonna like insult Amy Coney Barrett and try to take the kind of happiness she has away from, you know, women who can be that way, right? If we embrace Amy Coney Barrett as the example of what a woman can become, she's like a super duper woman. We should embrace her as a type or model and say, all of you in America, all you little girls in America can have it all. You can have a happy family. You can marry the man of your dreams. You can have children you love. You decide how many you want, and you can still be very successful in life, right? The most successful. You know what I mean? There are a lot of women who aborted like baby after baby to become a Supreme Court justice. Where are they now? You see what I'm saying? Um, they probably should not have aborted those babies. And now that they're like old and ugly and fat, they're probably like, oh, where are the babies I aborted? I could have had like 3 or 4 babies who love me unconditionally. Because your children love you unconditionally, right? Parents, they have conditions to how they love you, but children love their parents unconditionally, right? Parents do not love their children unconditionally. That's why parents leave the kids, right? Have you heard of children abandoning the kids, the parents? I mean, they run away maybe because they get beaten by their parents or whatever. There's a reason. There's always a reason why children run away from home, right? They're either physically beaten or whatever. There's something going wrong there. But parents leave even though their children don't beat them up, you know, because they don't love their children unconditionally. Children who run away from home, most of them have a reason, right? So it's not like they want to run away, but they feel like, you know, because they're being physically abused or whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, you see what I'm saying. So only unconditional love you're going to ever experience in your life is from your children. Only your children will love you unconditionally. God doesn't love you unconditionally. God always has conditions for why he loves you. Unless you accept Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior, he's not going to love you, right? Because if you don't accept Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior, God's going to send you to eternal damnation in hell, and he's going to have Satan torture you forever. That's not love. That's not unconditional love. God doesn't love you unconditionally. God loves nobody unconditionally. Only way you're going to receive God's love is you can accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. If you do not accept Lord and Savior, God's going to send you to eternal damnation in hell. How is that unconditional love? God doesn't love you unconditionally. Bible is very clear that God's love is conditional. Um, as you know, I'm an expert of the Bible, so I can say with 100% confidence, and I can back it up with all the textual proof, that God's love is 100% conditional. It's never unconditional, never unconditional. But your children's love comes closest to unconditional love that you will ever experience on this earth. And that's why everyone should have a child. Because children love you unconditionally. Um, that's how children are. Even children like whose parents like abandoned them at birth, they want to get to know their, birth mother or birth father. You know how that is? Because they have this, longing to give the unconditional love to their biological parents. Um, and that's, you're never going to experience that from any human being, like the love that you experience from your biological children. And, you abort these babies, you're never going to experience it. So there are a lot of women who are in their 40s and 50s, and they thought if they aborted their babies, they would help them professionally because they believe in the lie of Planned Parenthood, lie of feminism. Now they're 40, 50, and they've aborted and killed 3 children or whatever. Now they're regretting. They're like, I wish I had my child when I was, 18. She would be like, you know, 14, 15 years old now. And like we could be best buddies, BFFs, BFFs. They look at their friends with, teenage daughters. They're like, man, if I didn't abort my child at 18 because Planned Parenthood told me like I need to abort my child, the right to choose, blah, 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 blah. So, I could be happy in life, but I'm not happy in life because, I aborted my baby when I was 18. I should have just had the baby. Many of you are thinking this, as you know. Many of you who have aborted your own baby when you were 18 or 17 or 16 or 19 or 20, you're thinking to yourself, what would it be like if I didn't kill my baby? If I didn't abort my baby? What would it be like? You may have the BFF of your dreams, right? I mean, my sister's best friend is my mother. My mother's best friend is my sister. Moms and sister, moms and daughters, they become BFFs. Now you could have had that, but you killed your baby. So that's what you're imagine. Do you know what I'm saying? Um, it's sad, and we need to help women of future, like girls who are in middle school, elementary, high school, to understand that they don't have to experience the trauma, the PTSD, and the tragedy that you are experiencing now as a 40-year-old woman, 50-year-old woman who believe in the lies of Planned Parenthood, the lies of, Gloria Steinem. Is that her name? Gloria Steinem? The lies of feminism, which did not give you the happiness that they promised you. You see what I'm saying? I'm just trying to be helpful here, to you. Obviously, you do what you want. It's your life. Whatever you choose will determine what destiny you will have and how happy you will be in life, right? But I'm saying, consider the alternative that could make you happier, especially if you like, entering into womanhood. You don't wanna just like follow a pattern that leads to trauma. You know what I mean? You gotta think about this. Do you really want to abort your baby, your own baby? Do you really want to do that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are serious things that you should think about, because when you're 40 or 50, when you have nothing, you may be like, oh, I wish I had a child. That, I wish I didn't kill the child. I didn't abort the child. You see what I'm saying? You will be thinking about this, And that's why abortion is so horrible. Because not only are you killing a baby, your own baby, which is the worst kind of murder, right? But you're also destroying part of your future. Think about it. You could have a BFF, best friends forever, with your daughter. You aborted her. I mean, what is that? What is that? What is that? You know what I'm saying? I'm just approaching this from what's in it for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I care about you. I want you to be happy in life. What's in it for you, right? What's in it for you if you abort your baby? What's in it for you if you don't abort your baby? I'm just saying, consider the various options, It's not just about baby's life. It's about your life, right? I mean, would your life be better or worse as a result of having that baby when it is inconvenient? All I'm saying is, think about the long term. And I'm saying it may be inconvenient now, but in the long term, you will not get the joy that you can get from your daughter that you're about to abort. And that's why I'm saying don't abort the baby. Because it's your baby. It's totally yours. It's most purely yours out of everything you own, right? It's part of you. And killing a baby through abortion is killing a part of you, right? How is that going to make you whole, right? Um, how is that going to give you positive karma in life when you kill something that is part of you, right? And that's why I'm saying, reconsider doing um, things that feminists want you to do, liberal feminazis and progressives want you to do, which is weaponize your body against itself, right? That's what you're doing. You're weaponizing your body against itself based on a neurosis, based on some promise of capitalism that if you are able to work hard without attachments, you can achieve something that you would not otherwise be able to achieve, right? That's a form of degenerate capitalist dream that you're trying to pursue, right? And you are sacrificing at the altar of capitalism your own baby. I mean, how is that healthy? How is that normal? How is that good? How is that good for you? Right? What's in it for you? You're throwing away something that could be your most prized possession. I mean, how is that good for you? You see what I'm saying? Um, there are all these pro-lifers. They like to talk in terms of, oh, save the baby's life. Yeah, I like that. I agree with that. But It's more than that, you know. You matter, you the mothers matter, and your happiness matters. I think we cannot ignore that part. That happiness of the mothers who are about to abort their babies matter. And so, you know, I feel like, you know, there's so much unhappiness in the world, and you're going to be unhappy, or maybe even totally unhappy. Because the problem with abortion is, number one, not only are you killing a baby, sometimes abortion procedures go wrong and you can never have babies again. So that happens to quite a number of women. So you see, I mean, it's not, even if you abort one baby, that's going to traumatize you and haunt you for the rest of your life, right? But you may not be able to have any babies after one abortion, right? These things happen to people, you know? And so, um, you know, there are a lot of things that you need to think about, you know? And so, yes, not killing a life is important, and that's why abortion is wrong. Yes, I agree with that. But it's so much more than that. It's about you. It's about what's in it for you, right? Do you think anyone's gonna love you like your baby you're about to abort? Really? Really? I mean, you know, your boyfriend can dump you, your parents can die on you, even if like they're like nice to you for the rest of your life, which they could be or may not. You know what I mean? All you have is your baby, you know, who loves you unconditionally. You're only your babies who will love you unconditionally, right? Only your babies don't care what you do, right? You know, children don't care if their parents are rich or poor, right? They don't care. They don't judge you. But you know, like your parents may judge you, right? Oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. So this is a thing. Your children will never judge you, really. I mean, you know, they may say, you know, some things, you know, because they're children, you know, children say all kinds of stuff, hurtful stuff. But your children genuinely love you, regardless of who you are, regardless of what you achieve, regardless of any disability you may have now, regardless of any disability you may have in the future, develop in the future. Only your children will love you unconditionally. Um, I mean, not you know, like they'll come closest to loving you unconditionally. You know, there are husbands that dump their wife if they develop a disability, they become crippled or develop cerebral palsy or you know whatever, muscular dystrophy. You know, there are cases after cases where husbands just dump the wife, they just walk away from it. Um, and they were madly in love with her, but they're like, well, you know, she now has muscular dystrophy. She's not the same anymore. You know, she had an amputation, so she's not the same anymore. You know, and guys walk. Some guys walk. Many guys walk. Um, and you know, and your parents, you know, I mean, you know, your parents, you know, they love you, but you know, they judge you, right? They judge you a lot. I mean, you know, everybody complains about parents judging them, right? So you know what I'm saying. I mean, every child has felt this. Your parents probably felt this with their parents. It's only your children who will love you unconditionally. They don't care if you succeed in your work. They don't care if you fail in your work. I mean, they care, but you know, the way they love you as their mom or their dad does not hinge on whether you're successful or not. That's why children love unconditionally. This is how children are. That's what you're not going to experience that if you abort your baby. I mean, that's the most idiotic thing to do. Abort a baby who will love you unconditionally. Those of you who have children now know what I mean. I mean, geez, I mean, you know, you care that you don't get demoted or whatever. Your children really don't care. Obviously, they want you to be happy, but they're not going to look at you like as less of a mom because you get demoted at work. They don't care. This is why this is why a lot of parents love their kids. You know, like a lot of parents think that they love their kids because they think they're their mother. No, a lot of parents love their kids because the kids love them unconditionally. They love them first. You know, when the babies are born, yeah, they do poop a lot. They do keep you awake a lot, but you know, they look at you with that the trusting eyes. You know, and you know, you're the world to them. And for you, when you look at that as a mother or father, and those of you who are mother or father, you understand that makes you feel good, right? Let's be honest here. You are getting something out of your babies. That's why you love them. You know, a lot of parents like they want to be like all high and mighty. You know, oh, we love our children because we're such good people. No, it's not that. You love your children because they look at you like you're their world, and that makes you feel like you are like super duper human being, and nobody makes you feel that way. That's why you love your children. In a sense, it's a selfish response to something that you experience, which I would call like a commodity or service that you would not, if you were to use like capitalist terms, that you would not get from anyone else. That's why you love your children. And as they grow older, what do they say? Mommy, mommy, you're their world. They treat you like a god, like a, all-knowing God. And you feel like a god, uh, for being a mom, for being a dad. You see what I mean? So you think that you love your children just because you're their mother, you're their father. No, you love them because they give you the kind of love and affection that you will not get from anyone else in the world. And obviously, you don't really rationalize and think and analyze this in those terms. That's because you're not the Leonardo da Vinci of 21st century. I am. And that's why I'm pointing it out to you. Yeah, this is what makes me the Leonardo da Vinci. I could point out to you things that are obvious, but you just don't see it. Yeah, there are a lot of things that are obvious in the world that people just don't see. And that's why Jesus said, you have eyes, but you don't see. You have ears, but you don't hear. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, I'm just trying to look out for you, trying to see, how you can be happier in life. Um, that's just the way it is. You know, even grown-up people, the way they treat their parents, it borders on unconditional love. You know, yeah, I mean, children whose parents have mistreated them all their life, like abandoned them, as a child. If the parents want a relationship with them, most children will give it to them. You know what I mean? That's the unconditional love that you see among children. You know what I mean? You don't see that with like normal people in the world. People don't just like forgive all those years of abandonment. Your children do. I'm not saying you should abandon your children, but I'm just trying to illustrate a point that the love that you're going to experience from your children, it doesn't matter who you are, is the closest form of unconditional love. As I said, God's love is never unconditional. God's love is always conditional. But God's gift to you, God's gift to every human being is your children who will love you unconditionally. I mean, they will cause you problems. They'll make you mad at times. But through it all, their love for you most closely approximates unconditional love, and that is God's gift to humanity. Whether you're poor or rich, you can experience this. And you want to abort your baby and throw God's gift away, and that's just ridiculous because you're not throwing away something that's going to bog you down. You're throwing away your happiness, your only chance for unconditional love on this earth. Why would you want to throw that away? See, that doesn't make sense. Whether you get pregnant at age 16, whether you get pregnant at age 18, whether you get pregnant at age 22, whether you get pregnant at age 14, you should not throw that away. Obviously, you should not have sex before you get married, but, people make mistakes, people sin, I mean, that can't be helped. I mean, yeah, you should try to help it, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, you're always going to have sin in the world. But don't do the stupid thing and throw away one thing that, you know, that you can have joy from. Obviously, you should wait till marriage to have that kind of source of joy. But if it happens, there's no reason why you should throw it away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, COVID-19 is going to kill a lot of people. Like a lot of children are going to die from COVID-19. I'm estimating thousands will die in every state. Thousands of children will die in every state from COVID-19. Because we know that children can die from COVID now. It wasn't really that much the case before April, but after April now we know children can get COVID and they could die from COVID, and we have recorded cases of it. And so it's sad, and especially as we are headed into many years of COVID-19, the stupidest thing you can do is commit adultery. I mean, the children you already have may die. All your other loved people ones can die. Your parents can die. Your boyfriend can die. Your husband can die. Why would you want to throw away like anything that could give you happiness like that? Why? See, that doesn't make sense, right? Because you do nothing, people are going to die around you. Your husband's going to die. Your parents are going to die. Your aunt's going to die. Your sister's going to die. Your cousin's going to die from COVID. Next 6 months is going to be filled with COVID-19 death. You're going to lose a lot. Some of you will lose all your loved ones, 100% of them. That's going to happen to some people, right? Why do you want to commit abortion? Why do you want to get rid of your baby? It doesn't make logical sense. You're going to be losing people after people, not just this flu season. You have 6 months of flu season left, but you're going to be losing people next flu season, because most people, most experts say this is going to go on for years and years and years. Like every year flu kills people, influenza A, influenza B. In the same way, and cancer kills people, HIV virus kills people, hepatitis C virus kills people. In the same way, COVID-19 is going to keep killing people. It's going to keep infecting people. You see what I mean? So we don't know how long this is going to last. It could be a few years, it could be 10 years, it could be 20 years, it could be 50 years. Nobody really knows, right? You cannot control this thing. So, I think it's important for the people who are married to think about having, extra couple more kids, because your children can die. If you only have one child, you're looking at like tremendous sadness, normal time, the probability that, let's talk math here. The probability your baby will die is lower. So if you only have one child, you still have a chance that you won't lose that child. Probability is fairly high in non-pandemic world. But in a global pandemic, the chance that you may lose your only child is pretty high, statistically speaking. And that's why I think, you should, if you're a young married couple and you only have one child, you should get pregnant, have another child. It's an uncertain world. We don't know how long this COVID-19 is going to last. You may lose the child that you have now. I think, and also you got to socialize with your family unit anyway. And that could be what's necessary for years to come. So if you're just like a husband, wife, and child, maybe you should add to that, a couple more children of your own. It's having babies bond families too, like, children and the spouse. So I think it's a good thing for you to do. Obviously, you do what you want, but you do need to hear different perspectives and different perspectives about abortion, right? That you need to be exposed to why you should not have abortion, right? And you can't just like close your ears, because we know the promises of feminism hasn't worked. I mean, you're living proof of that. If you lifelong feminist, you look at your own life and you see that it didn't really work with your life, right? You have to be honest with yourself, right? Did feminism really give you happiness? I mean, do you feel like your life is better because you embrace feminism? Well, these are questions you got to answer for yourself. It's your life. Other people cannot answer for you. You need to answer for yourself. Yeah. So, don't become one of these people. If you're like 20-year-old, don't embrace feminism. That will, basically damn you to a life of unhappiness. Why would you want to do that? There's no reason to like embrace ideology to the point of your total unhappiness. You shouldn't do that. No ideology is worth that. I'm a Christian, but being a Christian gives me tremendous happiness. That's part of the reason I remain a Christian is because being Christian gives me happiness, right? Um, I know Jesus's love is not unconditional. If I don't accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior, He's going to send me to eternal damnation. I understand that His love is not unconditional. I understand that, but um, but still, Christianity gives me a lot of happiness um, because I have accepted this conditional love, and I love Jesus along these conditional lines. Right? I've accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. So I know that I'll go to eternal life in heaven with Jesus. You see what I mean? So that gives me a source of joy. I presented a paper at Hope University and Hope Liverpool University in England in 2019, a British New Testament conference, and my paper was entitled Transactional Leadership of Jesus. I mean, I'm paraphrasing it, but my argument is Jesus's leadership has always been transactional. And American evangelicals got it wrong. They tried to portray Jesus as unconditional in his love. And that's why America is in such a mess, because I'm saying that's not accurate. Bible doesn't show Jesus as an unconditional giver of unconditional love. And evangelicals in America got that wrong. I mean, a lot of things evangelicals got right, but I'm saying that particular one, all the evangelicals who say God loves unconditionally, they got it wrong, 100% wrong. And that's why America's in such a mess, because they got that very important point wrong. Because look around America. You think this is healthy society? And I'm blaming evangelical Christian leaders who misread the Bible and kept running with it. You need to be able to self-correct, auto-correct when you're in error. And evangelical Christian leaders haven't done that. That's the problem. You can always compare what you're preaching with what's in the Bible. You can't just keep preaching it because it sounds good to you. You need to compare what you're preaching with the Bible, and you got to auto-correct. You can't just keep running with it just because you feel like it. Right? Because then you're creating a new religion. You're creating your own religion if you're just running with what you like. You need to compare what you're saying with what the Bible is saying. And that's what evangelical Christian leaders have failed to do in the last 30 years. And this is a serious problem. Why do you think America is so messed up? And that's why I'm running my campaign under the motto, bring America back to God. Because America has gone far away from God, partly because of evangelical Christian leaders who kept running with their shtick. You can't just keep running with your stuff. Hopefully, you guys will self-correct, because there is a judgment day coming. God will judge every evangelical Christian leader for what they were done. Look at the world. Jesus said you will know by their fruit. What's the fruit that you have in America? Right? That's why you need to correct yourself, because you guys are wrong. You evangelical leaders are wrong. Because if your evangelical leaders were in the right, America would not be this messed up. You see what I'm saying? Obviously, you're doing something wrong, right? That's why America is broken. Because Jesus is the light of the world, right? Jesus' Bible has the answers to all the world's problems, but problems in America are not being solved, right? There are more problems being created. Why do you think that is? This is where you got to point the finger at evangelical leaders and Catholic leaders, Christian leaders who are supposed to be following the Bible. You're not following the Bible. That's why things are so wrong, right? I mean, if you're actually following the Bible, right, things should be good. Things should be turning out well for everybody. You're not following the Bible, and that's why things are going bad. And one of the things that evangelical Christians are doing wrong is preaching that God loves unconditionally, because that's just a lie. Bible never says that. Yeah. But anyway, maybe I'll talk about this another time. But something to think about in this COVID-19 America, because only truth can set you free. An idea may sound good to you, but if it's a lie, it's not going to set you free. Only truth is going to set you free. You can't just go and create another religion because you think that sounds better. You know what I'm saying? That's not the truth. That's your twisted religion. It's not God's religion, obviously. It's your religion. Only when we follow the footsteps of Jesus in the Word of God can we solve the world's problems. You cannot solve the world's problem by blah 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 blah. You're just like sprouting off your ideas because it sounds good to you. No, you need to compare your ideas with the Bible. And that's what evangelical Christians are failing to do. Evangelical Christian leaders, evangelical Christian elders, evangelical Christian deacons, evangelical Christian colleges. You guys are failing right now. Why do you think America's so messed up? You should be solving the problem, but you're creating problems, right? Because you're not following the Bible. I say, get back to ABC basics. Go back to the gospel, read it for what it says, and accept it. That's the only way you're going to start solving problems, because only truth will set you free. Yeah, I'm Heerak Christian Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District. I'm running under the motto, bring America back to God. And what I mean by that is bring America back to God in the way God wants America to be brought back to God. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this show. As you know, COVID-19 is killing like 1,000 a day right now. And it's just going to get worse, unfortunately. I'm predicting that minimum 3 million will die by June, but more like 30 million Americans will die by June. Obviously, I hope to prevent that. That's why I created this show, COVID-19 Update by Heerak Daily Show. Tune in every day, watch this every day. Tell your friends, relatives, family members, watch this show. And I hope that you will be able to find the path that God has laid out for you in the Holy Bible, because in Him is life, right? He's the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through Him, Jesus. Anyway, yeah, well, nice talking with you, and I hope that you have a nice 24 hours until next show, and that your family will be well, and that you'll be well, and that your children will be well. Bye.